Hey guys, it's me, Allie. I'm coming to you from my hotel room in Los Angeles, California. I came out here to do some VR related work and also to attend Oculus Connect, which was amazing. It just wrapped up a couple of days ago. Mind-blowing experience. So, you are about to watch the very first episode of VirtuAlly, and I wanted to make this quick little video to tag on to the beginning of that, just to let you know that because I have been out here, been traveling, working, and obviously attending Connect, that I didn't finish this video in the time that I ideally wanted to. So some of the news, some of the stories in this video are maybe going to be a little bit outdated, a little less current. However, my experience out here and at Connect have been so incredibly eye-opening, and I've met some amazing people and learned a ton. So I'm really excited about future episodes of VirtuAlly where I get to share all of that stuff with you. So enjoy the first episode of VirtuAlly, even though it might be a little bit outdated, and I look forward to sharing more VR news and interesting stuff with you in the future. Bye. Hey guys, I'm Allie. Welcome to VirtuAlly, where I share with you what I discovered this week in the world of virtual reality. So since this is the very first episode of VirtuAlly, I thought I'd tell you a little bit about what you can expect. In each episode, I'll cover news and stuff that I discovered that I found interesting in the world of VR. Sometimes I'll also include interviews or shout out VR demos that I think are worth trying. I'm a VR enthusiast, and I wanted a YouTube show that covered VR topics in a format like this, but I couldn't find it, so I decided to make the show that I was looking for, just in case maybe somebody else was looking for it too. Plus, I wanted to create a resource that was not only interesting for current VR enthusiasts, but also easily digestible for folks who are just being introduced to VR. So with that said, let's jump right in and talk about what's new this week in VR. It's been reported but not confirmed that Oculus VR, the company behind both the Oculus Rift and this new resurgence of interest in VR technology, is set to launch a public beta of the consumer version of the Oculus Rift as early as April of 2015. They say it might get pushed back to summer of 2015 because the details aren't nailed down yet. The devices will be very, very limited in number and will have a rollout similar to Google Glass when it came out. So far there aren't any details about what it'll look like or any new features, but Nate Mitchell, a co-founder of Oculus VR, said it'll cost between $200 and $400. That's not so bad. Palmer Luckey, a co-founder of Oculus VR, said the consumer system will have a significant increase in resolution and a refresh rate that will hit 90 Hz or higher. Oculus VR apparently declined to comment officially. But that's awesome, we have a date. Ish, and while I'm super excited that our consumer version Rift is possibly right around the corner, it does beg the question, what kind of computer are we going to need to have a really quality VR experience on this device? I have a DK1, and even with that, I can see that Oculus has a really great product on their hands. But VR is resource intensive, and it takes a seriously powerful machine to get that quality experience. And if you're a Mac user like I am, you can f***ing forget about it. Now, it's definitely doable on Mac, but it does tend to be much more costly to get the kind of computer you need for VR. Eventually, this will need to be a financially accessible product for consumers. It needs to be as easy as going out and buying an Xbox. It's my hope that the popularity of VR will grow and eventually drive down the prices of the computer hardware that's necessary to handle it. Keanu Reeves is co-producing and possibly starring in a new television show about virtual reality called New Angeles. He'll be co-producing the show with director Roland Emmerich. Roland Emmerich, of course, is the director behind some awesome titles like Independence Day, The Day After Tomorrow, 10,000 BC. Apparently the show's about a man who enters a virtual world to escape the monotony of his everyday life. It's within this virtual world that he begins to fulfill his destiny and unravel a mystery that has, quote, implications for him both in virtual reality and his real life. Does this sound familiar? Yes. Am I going to follow every detail of the show's production until it comes out? Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna watch the shit out of that show. But possibly the coolest part about this is that novelist and comic book writer Greg Hurwitz will be the show's writer. We know Keanu can act. I know Kung Fu. And we know Emmerich can direct movies with explosions, but what'll make or break something like this is the writing, and I think Hurwitz has the chops. He's been writing Batman the Dark Knight for DC Comics since 2012. But I guess we'll see. The show could be awesome, or it could be a complete flop. Let me know in the comments down below what you expect to see. And now for our final piece of news, you've probably already heard about the announcement of Samsung's mobile VR device, Gear VR, powered by Oculus. The Gear VR uses a mobile phone as its display. It has a compartment at the front that the phone slips into. It's got a 96-degree field of view, which is only 4 degrees less than Big Brother Rift. It also features a touchpad on the side, and its motion to photon latency is less than 20 milliseconds. It'll be priced at about $200, which isn't so bad. Oh, what's that you say? That doesn't include the cost of the Galaxy Note 4, the only phone the device can work with? So yeah, without that Galaxy Note 4, your shiny new Gear VR will just be a super dangerous ski mask. Don't go skiing with that on, don't do that. In all seriousness, I totally get why they did that. From a business and a technical standpoint, it's actually a really smart move. Mobile VR is going to be hugely important in bringing VR into people's lives and homes in an accessible way. I think the Gear VR sounds awesome, but what I want is a mobile VR option that works with my current smartphone, or at the very least, that works with several phones that I'm likely to buy in the future. The Galaxy Note 4 was designed with Gear VR in mind, so maybe this will motivate other phone makers to rethink their specs and begin designing phones that really work with VR technology. Maybe. That'd be cool. In the meantime, let me know in the comments down below whether or not you'll be picking up a Samsung Gear VR and a Galaxy Note 4, and why or why not. Recently, I got the chance to interview mega YouTuber, Control VR partner, and super tall guy Brandon Laatsch at this year's VidCon. We talked about Control VR, his thoughts on the future of virtual reality, and I even got to ask him about his ideal dream VR experience. Spoiler alert, his was a little bit more sophisticated than mine. Check it out. I'm here at VidCon in beautiful Anaheim, California, and I'm joined by Brandon Laatsch, co-creator of some awesome YouTube channels like Node, Rocket Jump, and his personal channel, Brandon JLA, and most recently, a partner with an awesome new product called Control VR. Hi, Brandon.
Hi.
What is Control VR?
Control VR is an upper body motion capture system purposed for VR. So basically when you move, it moves, and it gives you your entire hands.
I tried it recently and it's so cool. It's awesome. It's wonderful.
It's a lot of fun. The key to immersion is really being able to see your hands move and have them move the way your hands move, because that, if you were to shake your hand like that, you can see it wiggle back and forth the same way it is, and that gives you that sense of immersion.
Currently there's a lot of focus being placed on gaming in virtual reality. How do you think that movies will be made in a world of VR?
I don't think you'll actually make it's more of a, in VR it'll be more of an experience. It'll be more of seeing a story. It's less editing around and more you are watching the story as it plays out. I think of a movie like Cabin in the Woods, where you had, four teens going to this cabin, and there's one point in the movie where they split them into different rooms. If you basically built that set, motion captured the actors and did facial tracking on them and facial, so you had the full facial expressions, and you had something where you could choose what you were looking at and you could walk around.
What other types of peripheral devices do you foresee being necessary in VR to make for more presence?
I think there's a difference between necessary and desirable, and I think that'll kind of come down to the different users. The bare bone essentials, I think you're going to need, obviously you need vision, you need a head-mounted display, so you need something to get your hands and body into there. I believe you need some sort of haptic or tactile feedback. Ultimately, the biggest tool in VR is your own mind and your mind's willingness or desire to accept it as reality.
Before you die, what do you feel like you must experience in VR? I have mine, and I won't tell you what it is until you tell me yours.
In Native American culture, there was like the spirit quest, where it's like the young brave must go out into the woods on his own. You make something in VR where people would go in and they'd come out and they'd really make them reevaluate some element of what of who they are or what they think. I think you can make something very, very fascinating very quickly.
Mine was Hogwarts.
Hogwarts?
Yeah, just walking around with my wand. Yours is way cooler though. Well, thank you so much to Brandon Laatsch, and that's all we have to ask. Bye.
Thanks for having me, guys. That
was awesome. Many thanks again to Brandon Laatsch for taking the time to chat with me a little bit. Now, for this week's cool VR demo, check out my friend Nick on his channel Pure VR as he shares his first impressions of the Oculus Rift DK2 with the Unreal Engine 4 roller coaster demo.
A world of difference. Whoa, DK1, oh my god, holy whoa! Wow!
The demo's not super new, but I really like it because it gives a great first impression of the DK2, and the roller coaster is really cool. It's kind of like if Stuart Little built an amusement park inside of your living room. So if you're interested in checking that out, click the annotation link at the end of this video, and there will also be a link to that video in the description down below. And if you like Nick's channel, go ahead and subscribe. He regularly posts really informative and entertaining content. Okay guys, so before we go, I have a question for you. Going back to my interview with Brandon Laatsch about Control VR, what is the next input device that you would like to see for VR? There's already stuff out there for your hands, there's stuff for your feet, there's even a fan to simulate wind currents, so what else do we need? Let me know in the comments down below or tweet me your answers at PixelWhipped. Well guys, thank you so much for watching the first episode of VirtuAlly. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Keep an eye on the PixelWhipped channel because we will be releasing even more content in addition to VirtuAlly soon. We'll have a lot of interesting guests and it'll all be virtual reality related stuff. My name is Allie and I'll see you next time. Bye.
All right, here it is. The DK2 has finally arrived. It's in my hands, and I'm not gonna wait any longer. It's time to get into the Unreal roller coaster demo. All right, so here we have it. I'm just about to try it for the first time, and holy crap, I am so excited. So let's get into it. Here we go. All right. Oh, oh my God. Wow.